The Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber. Author, Jin Yong. Chapter 3 Part B. When Yu Daiyan regained consciousness, he sees a small flag in a vase by the side. The flag shows a small fish swimming against the current. He thinks, this must be Linen City's Dragon Gate Escort Agency. What happened to me? His mind is still muddy, so he does not try to think anymore. He only feels as if someone's carrying him on a stretcher, into the middle of a big hall. When he tried to move, he realizes that he can't. Only to hear two people converse. The first person in a booming voice, says, "You are?" The other person says, "Don't bother asking. I just want to know if you're going to take this delivery." Yu Daiyan thinks, this second voice has a high pitch. It's seemingly that of a woman. The man with the booming voice says, "You think we don't have enough business here? If you won't give me your name, then you can take your business elsewhere." The person with the woman's voice says, "But the Dragon Gate Escort Agency is the only decent one around. I don't care for the others. However, if you can't make a decision, get your boss out here." The man with the booming voice says in an irritated voice, "I'm the boss. And right now, I have some other business to attend to. Please leave." That person with the woman's voice says, "Oh. So you're multi-armed bear Du Jin." After a pause, continues, "Escort leader Du, nice to meet you. My surname is Yin." Du Jin feels a little better with her praise, and says, "What do you need?" The customer named Yin says, "I need to first make sure that you can handle my delivery. Because it's very important." Du Jin says angrily, "I've delivered types of treasure in my 20 years here. Never have there been any problems." Yu Daiyan has also heard of this person, knows that he's a non-monk disciple of Shaolin. Du Jin is proficient with both the fist and the saber, but he's most famous for his steel darts. He can simultaneously fire 49 darts at the same time, which is how he got the nickname Multi-Armed Bear. It's just that Shaolin and Wudang are not really close, which is why they have not yet met each other. The person named Yin says, "If it weren't for your fame, why would I come? I have a delivery for you to make, and it comes with 3 conditions." Du Jin says, "We don't accept any deliveries that require too much hassle. We don't accept any deliveries we don't know the background of. We don't accept any deliveries that's worth less than 50,000 taels of silver." He didn't listen to the customer's 3 conditions, and instead named 3 conditions of his own. That person named Yin says, "I'm sorry. But by my delivery will require some hassle. Its background is also quite muddy. As for its worth, well, that's hard to say. Plus I also have 3 conditions. 1, you must personally lead the escort. 2, you must take the package to the Xiangyang city without any rest, so it will arrive in 10 days. 3, should there be any problems, I will kill every single person in your Dragon Gate Escort Agency." Only to hear a loud pang sound, which must be Du Jin hitting the table, who yells, "Had you want to ridicule someone, you should not have picked my Dragon Gate Escort Agency. If it weren't for the fact that you look way too small and skinny, I would pummel you right here." The person named Yin chuckles, and then throws something heavy on the table, says, "This is 2,000 taels of gold. It's the fee for this delivery." Yu Daiyan thinks in shock, "What? That's tens of thousands taels of silver. Normally it takes several years to make this much money for an escort agency." Only to hear Du Jin breathing heavily, obviously staring at such amazing amount of wealth. After a while, he says, "Mr. Yin, what would you like us to escort?" That person named Yin says, "First tell me if you're going to agree to my 3 conditions." Du Jin says, "Since you are offering so much money, I'll risk my life this time to make sure it safely arrives. So where are the items you want to deliver?" That person named Yin says, "The package I want you to deliver is the gentleman on this stretcher." This really surprised Du Jin and especially Yu Daiyan himself. Yu Daiyan can't help but yell, Me? Yet for some reason, no words can leave his mouth no matter how hard he tries. Only to hear Du Jin say, This person?" That person named Yin says, "Correct. You can change horses and carriages along the way, but not the people escorting. In 10 days, you must deliver this person to the master of Wudang, the venerable Zhang Sanfeng." Du Jin says, "Wudang Sect? The problem is, Shaolin and Wudang are not very. How can I say this?" That person named Yin says, "This person is gravely injured. so it's imperative that he's delivered as soon as possible. What's with the indecisiveness? Are you going to accept this deal or not? Duda Jin says, fine. We'll accept it. That person named Yin chuckles and says, good. Today's the 29th day of the 3rd month. If he's not safely at Wudang Mountain by the 9th of next month, I'll make sure that no one in this escort agency will remain alive. Only to hear several swoosh sounds, as several needles shot out, destroying all vases holding the agency's flags in all parts of the room. Even Duda Jin let out a shocking ah. The person named Yin then yells, let's go, and leaves with the people carrying the stretcher. After that person left, Duda Jin gathers himself and walks up to Yu Daiyan, asks, are you a member of the Wudang Sect? Yu Daiyan can't answer, but can see that this gentleman looks very muscular and strong, thinking his outer fighting skills must be quite formidable. Duda Jin asks again, I never would have thought that this small, scholarly person has such incredible kung fu. Do you know which sect he belongs to? Yu Daiyan closes his eyes and ignores him. Duda Jin's name is quite sound, and his forte is with hidden weapons. Yet he couldn't possibly destroy tens of vases using paper-thin needles. Besides, he has never seen anything quite so strange as someone giving 2,000 taels of gold to deliver a live person. Duda Jin wraps up the gold and orders his servants to take Yu Daiyan to the guest room. He then gathers up his best men and prepares for the trip. By nightfall, they left the escort agency. While in the carriage, Yu Daiyan thinks, after wandering in the martial world for so many years, I've never cared much for escort agencies. Who would have thought that they would be the people in charge of my life right now? He then thinks, I wonder who this friend named Yin is. She sounds like a woman. That Duda Jin says she's very scholarly, yet her kung fu is certainly very good, and her way of doing things really is quite extraordinary. Too bad I didn't get to see her, or say thanks. If we ever meet again, I'll make sure to repay her kindness. A row of horses quickly moves west. Other than leaders Du, Ju, and Shi, everyone else is a young, energetic lad. They all picked the best horses, and changed them frequently on the road, just as their customer Yin ordered. When he left the escort agency, Duda Jin expected many people to block their paths. Yet for some reason, their trip was very smooth. In 9 days, they're already at the bottom of the Wudang Mountain. Although it's been a long, arduous journey, everyone is glad that they're not going to miss the 10-day deadline. Duda Jin says, Brother Ju, these past years the Wudang Sect's name has become quite sound. Although still not as sound as a Shaolin, but quite famous nonetheless. Look at the steepness of the mountain. You know the saying that the environment makes the person. Perhaps they really are quite good. Sub-leader Ju says, but these rumors of their accomplishments aren't reliable. Besides, they've only been around for a few years. How can they possibly compete with us Shaolin? Sub-leader Shi says, he's right. We've never really seen their kung fu. Compared to us, they're probably nothing. After traveling some more, Sub-leader Ju asks, what are we going to say to Zhang Sanfeng when we see him? Duda Jin says, although we're from a different sect, he is after all almost 90. So it doesn't matter if we go up and kowtow a few times. As they're talking, Duda Jin wonders, who is this person inside? Is he a Wudang disciple, a friend of Wudang, or an enemy? While he's thinking, 6 people on horseback surrounded their group. Duda Jin thinks, could we possibly have problems now that we're under the Wudang Mountain? He whispers to Sub-leader Ju, watch the main carriage. Then he went up to meet the strangers, says, this is the Dragon Gate Escort Agency in the city of Linen. Sorry we did not send a greeting beforehand. Duda Jin sees that 2 of the people dressed as Taoists while the other 4 have on normal clothing. They all look very composed and gallant, with weapons attached to their sides. Duda Jin wonders, could this be 6 of the 7 Wudang heroes? He says, may I ask who your names are? A person with a large birthmark on the face responds coldly, what are you doing on Wudang Mountain? Duda Jin says, we're here to send an injured person to your master, Venerable Zhang Sanfeng. That person asks, who is the injured person? Duda Jin says, I don't know. A person named Yin asked me to make this delivery. I know of nothing else. We don't ask our customers for their reasons. That person says, a customer named Yin? What kind of person is he? Duda Jin says, he's a handsome and scholarly fellow, whose projectile weapon skills are incredible. That person then asks, so you've fought him? Duda Jin says, no. He just Before he could finish, a short person among the strangers cut him off, asks, "Where the dragon saber?" Duda Jin says in bewilderment, "What dragon saber? Is it the mythical one everyone's talking about?" That short guy immediately goes up to the carriage and looks inside. Duda Jin looks at his lightness kung fu, thinking, this resembles Shaolin's kung fu. Humphrey Wudang claims that their kung fu skills are unique, but looks like they still cannot deviate from their Shaolin roots. Now that he's certain these are Wudang disciples, Duda Jin says, "Are you the famous Wudang heroes? Who is first hero song?" The man with the birthmark says, "Oh, you're too flattering." The short man says, "His injury is severe. Let's get him back quickly." That man with the birthmark says to Duda Jin, "Thank you for escorting our friend here." Duda Jin says, "You're welcome." That person then says, "He needs to see our master quickly. We'll take it from here." Duda Jin says, "Sure. In that case, I'll give him to you." That person says, "Thank you," and throws a gold nugget at Duda Jin. "Just a little reward for you." As he says this, those 6 people left with the carriage. Duda Jin looks at the nugget, and finds 5 fingerprints on it. He thinks, wow. These Wudang heroes really do possess some great kung fu. I bet only my martial uncles who knows the golden steel finger can make such a mark. Sub-leader Zhu says, "These Wudang people really are arrogant. We spent all this time coming here, and they don't even ask us to go up for a rest." Duda Jin has the same feelings, except he didn't bother to say it. Instead he says, "Well, at least we save some time. Besides, it would be awkward for us Shaolin disciples to visit Wudang. Let's just leave." On their way back, Duda Jin feels more and more unsettled, seeing how the Wudang heroes didn't even bother to leave their name. But everyone else feels only joy, knowing that they just made a ton of money, since Duda Jin has always been extravagant when splitting their earnings. As they continued on their journey, a person on a fast galloping horse suddenly passed them from behind. Duda Jin sees that it's a youngster of about 21 or 22. He looks scholarly and charismatic, and as he passed said, "Thanks for letting me pass." When he left, Duda Jin asks, "Brother Zhu, who do you think this is?" Sub-leader Zhu says, "He came from Wudang Mountain, so he's probably a Wudang disciple. But he doesn't have any weapons, and looks too scrawny to be a kung fu expert." When he finished, that youngster suddenly came back, and asks, "May I ask a question?" Duda Jin says, "What do you need to know?" That youngster looks at the flag and says, "Are you the Dragon Gate Escort Agency?" Sub-leader Zhu says, "Yes." That youngster says, "May I ask who everyone is? And how is your head leader do?" Sub-leader Zhu says, "My surname is Zhu. What's your name? Are you a friend of our head leader?" That youngster gets off the horse and steps forward a bit, says, "My name is Zhang Wuji. I've heard of the famous Dragon Gate Escort Agency." When he said this, Duda Jin felt a huge shock, thinking how could the famous 5th hero Zhang be a young scholar. He says, "I am Duda Jin. So you are the person everyone calls Silver Hook and Iron Brush 5th hero Zhang?" That youngster says with a smile, "I don't think I'm worthy of the hero title. But since you're here at Wudang Mountain, how about going up for a visit? Today is my master's 90th birthday. If you don't have anything important to do, we would appreciate your company." Duda Jin sees that he's quite sincere, and wonders, how come the Wudang heroes differ so much in terms of personality? He gets down his horse and says, "If your brothers were as nice as you, we would already be at Wudang now." Zhang Wuji says, "What? You say that you've met my brothers? Which ones?" Duda Jin thinks, "You really know how to put up an act." And says, "I saw your other brothers today." Zhang Wuji stutters for a moment, then asks, "You've also seen my third brother Yu?" Duda Jin says, "You mean Yu Daiyan? I don't know who's Yu Daiyan. I just saw the 6 of them together. So he must be there." Zhang Wuji says, "6 people? Which 6 people?" Duda Jin says, "Your brothers won't give their names, so how would I know? Since you are the 5th hero, then they must be the rest of the 7 heroes." Zhang Wuji seems lost in thought, and asks, "Did you really see them?" Duda Jin says, "Of course. Everyone in my agency saw them." Zhang Wuji says, "That doesn't make sense. Brother Song and the others are all preparing for Master's birthday. Only I came down the mountain to find my third brother. So how could you have met them?" Duda Jin says, "You mean, that person with a birthmark on his face isn't Hero Song?" Zhang Wuji says, "None of my brothers have any birthmarks on his face." Cold sweat rushes over due to Jin. He says, they said that they're the 6 heroes of Wudang. 2 of them are even Taoists. So we. Zhang Wuji says, although our master is a Taoist, none of his students are. Did they really say that they're the 6 heroes of Wudang? Duda Jin thinks back, and realizes that those people never did openly say who they are. After a pause, he says, looks like these people are up to no good. We have to chase them down. As he says this, he quickly gets back on his horse, and start riding back towards Wudang Mountain. Zhang Wuji rides alongside, and says, it doesn't matter too much if they're simply masquerading as us. Why not just let them go? Duda Jin says, but what about that person? Someone asked me to escort this person to your venerable Zhang Sanfeng. These 6 people took him. Zhang Wuji says, who is this person you're talking about? Duda Jin told Zhang Wuji what had happened as they galloped back. Zhang Wuji then asks, what's the wounded person's name? What about his look? Duda Jin says, I don't know his name, but he's around 30. He then proceeds to describe that person's face. Zhang Wuji says shockingly, This is my 3rd brother Yu. He then asks, how did my 3rd brother get injured? Who asked you to escort him here? Who's the enemy? Duda Jin cannot answer these, and does not respond. Zhang Wuji asks again, what do those people who took away my 3rd brother look like? Sub-leader Shi then describes their looks. Zhang Wuji says, thank you. I shall go on ahead. After searching for hours, Zhang Wuji sees a broken carriage on the side of the road. Turning around, he sees a person lying on the ground. With his heart beating fast, Zhang Wuji races up next to the person, only to see that it's indeed Yu Daiyan. Happy and distressed at the same time, Zhang Wuji quickly picks him up and touches his face. Feeling warmth, he let out a sigh of relief, and then yells, 3rd brother, Yu. What happened? I'm your 5th brother. 5th brother. He examines Yu Daiyan, only to see all his joints crushed, and blood pouring out. Obviously, whoever hurt him did so a short while ago. While his first thoughts were rage and revenge, Zhang Wuji then promptly remembers that Yu Daiyan's life is still in danger. He did not bring any medicine down the mountain, so he quickly put Yu Daiyan on his back and quickly runs up the mountain, using all his lightness kung fu ability. Since today is their master's 90th birthday, the Wudang's main Purple Paradise Hall has been filled with an aura of happiness. The 6 disciples all gave their toast to Zhang Sanfeng. The only problem was that they're missing Yu Daiyan. So at noon, Zhang Wuji said to his master, let me go down the mountain to check up on him. Who would have thought that Zhang Wuji would also disappear? It should have taken him at most a couple of hours to reach the old river before turning back. But it's now nightfall, yet still no sight of him. The dinner in the hall has long been prepared, the candles almost half burnt. Everyone feels uncomfortable. 6th disciple Yin Liting and 7th disciple Muo Shenggu pace in and out of the hall. Zhang Sanfeng is quite aware of these 2 missing disciples' temper. Yu Daiyan is calm and composed, and can always be counted on to accomplish a task. Zhang Wuji is smart and quick-witted, and is decisive. So if they haven't come back yet, something important must have happened. First disciple Song Yuan Chao looks at the candles, and then says with a smile, Master, 3rd and 5th brother must have found some terrible things happening down the mountain. They know that the best gift to you is to do good deeds. That's why they're late. Zhang Sanfeng says with a smile, I remember you saved a widow from suicide back when I was 80. But you know, if you kids have to wait 10 years in between your good deeds, people might get a bit impatient. His 5 disciples laughed. Zhang Sanfeng has always had a casual relationship with his students, so they joke all the time. Zhang Songzai then says, but you're going to at least live till 200 years old. So even if we just do one good deed per 10 years, it's still going to be a lot. Muo Shenggu adds with a laugh, I'm just afraid that we won't be able to keep up for that long. Before he could finish, Song Yuan Chao and Yu Lianzhou looked out the hall and yelled together, is that the 3rd brother? Zhang Wuji says, it's me. Only to see him carrying a person on the back, running into the hall with sweat all over his face, yelling, Master, 3rd brother, someone attacked him. As everyone looks in shock, Zhang Wuji stumbled a bit, and falls unconscious. Song Yuan Chao and Yu Lianzhou realize that Zhang Wuji only fell down due to exhaustion, while Yu Daiyan's situation is much more dire. Together they pick him up, and check his vital signs. Zhang Sanfeng's heart shook upon seeing his disciple injured, and then takes out 3 Tiger Life Extending pill and put it in Yu Daiyan's mouth. But Yu Dai, in his unconscious state, could not swallow them. Zhang Sanfeng then applies his inner power Yu Dai Yan's Jia point. After a while, Yu Dai Yan's throat finally responds, and swallows the pills. At this point, Zhang Songzai begins to massage the muscles on his neck, while Zhang Sanfeng continues apply his qi to several different important pressure points on Yu Dai Yan's body, trying to revive him. After a while, Zhang Quishan came about again, and asks, "Master, can you save third brother?" Zhang Sanfeng only says, "Everyone eventually dies in this world." Only to see a servant come in, saying, "There are some people outside who wants to see you, Master. They say they're from the Dragon Gate Escort Agency." Zhang Quishan quickly stands up, his face filled with hatred, says, "It's them," and quickly goes outside. Only to hear some sounds of weapons clashing outside, as Yin Liting and Muo Shenggu quickly follows to help their fifth brother. They see Zhang Quishan holding a burly man by the collar and then throws him down, yelling, "It's all this old guy's fault." Muo Shenggu, hearing that it's this old man who injured his third brother, begins to step up and give him a kick, but Song Yuanchao quickly stops him. Only to hear someone outside's yelling, "Do you Wudang Sect have any manners? I sincerely want to come and visit, yet you would treat us like this?" Song Yuanchao quickly goes up to Duda Jin and unseals his pressure points. Then he says, "Don't worry. Be a little patient, and we will sort out the truth." This sentence came out in a serious manner backed up by a great deal of inner power. Sub-leaders Zhu and Shi thought he's actually Zhang Sanfeng, and became silent. Song Yuanchao says, "Fifth brother. Tells what had happened. Don't be in a hurry, but be detailed." Zhang Quishan stares at the Dragon Gate people a bit, and then proceeds to tell the story. Duda Jin then added what happened before he met Zhang Quishan. Song Yuanchao can see that his kung fu is nowhere near the level of Yu Dai Yan. That, plus his willingness to come to Wudang, pretty much dissolves him of any possible guilt. Duda Jin finally adds at the end, "Hero Song, I'm sorry that we weren't able to protect Hero Yu. But what do we do now with all the family members of my agency's employees?" Despite concentrating on healing Yu Dai Yan, Zhang Sanfeng heard all of Duda Jin's words clearly, and says, "Lianzhou, you take Shenggu to Linen and protect the Dragon Gate Escort Agency." Yu Lianzhou nods, thinking, "Master really is kind. Although it's possible that this customer Yin may be bluffing, it's still not a good idea to leave so many employees' relatives alone and vulnerable." Zhang Quishan says, "Look at what this Du guy did to our third brother. Why would you help him out?" Song Yuanchao says, "How can you say that, fifth brother? Do you know why head leader Du came in the first place?" Zhang Quishan says, "Obviously for the gold. Do you really think it's because he cares for third brother?" When Duda Jin hears this, his face immediately turns red. Song Yuanchao says, "Don't be rude to our guests. You're tired too. How about taking a rest?" Being the first brother, Song Yuanchao wields great amount of power within Wudang. All other brothers defers to him. So when Song Yuanchao told Zhang Quishan to rest, Zhang Quishan could only close his mouth. But still fearing for Yu Dai Yan's life, he did not go back to his room. Song Yuanchao then says, "Second brother, hurry up and gather your stuff with seventh brother. You'll leave tonight since this is urgent." Yu Lianzhou and Muo Shenggu quickly complied. Duda Jin, feeling warmth in his heart due to Wudang's kindness, says to Zhang Sanfeng, "Venerable Zhang, thank you for your help. We won't bother you any longer. Goodbye." Song Yuanchao says, "Wait. Since you are already here, how about staying for the night? We also have some things we need to clear up." Although his voice is calm, it carries a very serious and ordering tone, prompting Duda Jin to agree. Yu Lianzhou and Muo Shenggu then said goodbye to everyone, taking extra long with Yu Dai Yan, knowing this might be the last time they would ever see him. The hall suddenly became silent, with only Zhang Sanfeng's methodic breathing providing any noise. After about an hour, Yu Dai Yan suddenly yells loudly, shaking everyone in the room. Duda Jin sneaked a peek at Yu Dai Yan, wondering whether this is a good or a bad scream. Zhang Sanfeng says, "Songzai, Li Ting, take your third brother back to his room." Zhang Songzai and Yin Li Ting promptly follow his order. When they came back out again, Yin Li Ting asks, "Is he going to recover?" Zhang Sanfeng takes a deep breath, and then says, "It will take a month before I can tell if he lives or dies. Even if he survives, he'll never be able to move again. His life is..." and proceeds to shake his head. Yan Liting suddenly starts to cry, while Zhang Quishan quickly gets to slap Du Dejin. This move came quick as lightning, and Du Dejin could not block in time before the palm slapped his cheek. As Zhang Quishan tries to slap him again, Zhang Songzai quickly comes over and pushes the palm out of the way. When Du Dejin backs off, something heavy drops out of his robe, falling onto the floor. It's a gold nugget. Zhang Quishan says, "Humphrey, you greedy bastard. Giving away my third brother just for some gold." Before he finished, he suddenly sees the fingerprints on the nugget, and asks, "Big brother, this is Shaolin's golden steel finger." Song Yuanchao looks at it, and then gives it to Zhang Sanfeng. Zhang Sanfeng looks at it for a while, and then looks at Song Yuanchao for a moment silently. Zhang Quishan yells, "Master, this is Shaolin's golden steel finger. No other kung fu in the world can possibly do this, right?" At this moment, Zhang Sanfeng suddenly remembers his childhood days with Zhu Yuan, matching palms with Yitsu Dao, and chased out of Shaolin onto Wudang Mountain. He realizes that Zhang Quishan is correct, that this is indeed golden steel finger. No other finger techniques can match this in terms of power. Although his own inner power is very high, he has never learnt such hard techniques. As for other sects' hard techniques, none can accomplish this. But should he confirm Zhang Quishan's guess, his disciples would want revenge. That would be very undesirable. Zhang Quishan can see that he's correct from his master's look, and asks, "Is it possible that some extremely intelligent person invented a finger technique that can do this?" Zhang Sanfeng says, "That's impossible. It took Shaolin hundreds of years to perfect this. I don't think anyone can invent it by himself." Song Yuanchao says, "In that case, we can confirm that third brother's joints were destroyed by Shaolin's golden steel finger." When Du Dejin hears that they think it's Shaolin who injured Yu Daiyan, he quickly gets up, wanting to say something, but did not say it. After a while, he says, "No. It can't be Shaolin. I've been studying there for over 10 years, yet have never seen those 6 people." Song Yuanchao looks at him, and says, "Sixth brother, why don't you show our guest to his room? Get him some dinner. I'm sure he's hungry." Yan Liting goes over to Du Dejin to send him out. Although Du Dejin wants to speak some more, he finally decides against it, and followed Yan Liting. After settling down Du Dejin, Yan Liting goes back to Yu Daiyan's room, and cried again as he saw Yu Daiyan's pale, stiff face. When he came back out into the hall, he heard Zhang Sanfeng say, "How venomous. Songzai. What do you suggest we do?" Out of all his students, Zhang Songzai is the cleverest. He normally doesn't speak his mind much, but he is very good at analyzing. After Zhang Quishan came back carrying Yu Daiyan, he felt much sadness, but at the same time started to investigate into this matter. Now that he heard his master ask, he says, "I believe this has nothing to do with Shaolin, but rather the Dragon Saber." Zhang Quishan and Yan Liting both let out an "ah," while Song Yuanchao says, "Fourth brother. I'm sure you've thought this out. Tell us your conclusion." Zhang Songzai says, "With third brother's mild temper, it's extremely unlikely that he made any enemy for no reason. That bandit he was supposed to kill was an outlaw. There's no reason why Shaolin would hurt him over that." Zhang Sanfeng nods. Zhang Songzai continues, "Other than his joints, third brother was also poisoned back at Linen City. If we want to find out exactly what had happened, we must first go to Linen to investigate." Zhang Sanfeng nods again, says, "The poison he suffered is very unique. I still haven't found the right antidote. There are several tiny holes in his right palm and leg. Does anyone know who uses this type of hidden weapon?" Song Yuanchao says, "This is strange. If this person is good enough so that he can hit third brother with hidden weapons, why would they need poison on it?" They all begin to think over this matter. After a while, they still could not find an answer, until Zhang Songzai says, "That man with the birthmark could have easily killed third brother, but instead simply paralyzed him. This obviously meant that he wanted to get some information from third brother. In my opinion, this information must have something to do with the Dragon Saber. Remember what Du Dejin said, that one of those 6 people yelled, 'Where's the Dragon Saber?' Yan Liting says, 'Martial world's most venerable, prized saber dragon slaying, controlling all under heaven, none dares to not follow. Power of heaven not appear, who can possibly compete?' This phrase has been around for 100 years, could it be that there really is a Dragon Saber?" Zhang Sanfeng says, "Not even for 100 years, at most 70 to 80. It did not exist when I was young." Zhang Quishan says, Fourth brother's right. We need to go down to the south to find the killer. Zhang Sanfeng asks Song Yuanchao, what's your opinion? For the past few years, Zhang Sanfeng has been letting Song Yuanchao manage most issues within the Wudang Sect. So he wants Song Yuanchao to make the decision. Song Yuanchao says, Master. Not only is this about third brother's revenge, but also the reputation of Wudang. If we don't settle this in the right fashion, we might cause some big problems. Zhang Sanfeng says, right. You and Song Zai, Li Ting will take my letter to Shaolin tomorrow and meet Abbot Kong Wen. Ask him how to handle the matter. Shaolin's very strict. He will know how to take care of this properly. Song Yuanchao, Zhang Song Zai, and Yan Li Ting nod together. Zhang Song Zai thinks, sixth brother alone should be sufficient for this trip. There must be some other reason that Master wants all three of us to go. Zhang Sanfeng confirms this by adding, I am an escapist from Shaolin. After all these years, I guess they must respect the fact that I'm quite old, and never bothered to come to Wudang to capture me. But there is still some friction between us. Which is why I want three of you to go, to show more respect. Zhang Sanfeng then turns to Zhang Quishan and says, Quishan, you'll go down south tomorrow, and meet up with your second and sixth brother. There, listen to second brother's orders. Zhang Quishan nods. Zhang Sanfeng then says, don't worry about drinking any wine tonight. A month later, we'll gather here again. If Diane won't recover, we can at least say goodbye to him. When he said to this part, he sighed deeply with a gloomy expression. Yan Li Ting continues to wipe his tears as he cries. Zhang Sanfeng then says, let's go to sleep. Song Yuanchao says, Master, third brother has been righteous his whole life. The Lord will surely bless him, and. He couldn't go on, knowing that more words would only sadden his master further. With tears coming out of his eyes, he follows his fellow brothers out, and back to his room.